Assalamu alaikum, God Paul.
Walaikum salam.
It is an honor to be here to be able to ask you a few questions about your life and the life that you're living now. There's not many people that have been here on this planet that have seen what you've seen, know what you know, and are about what you're about. However, this is their opportunity to learn. So, I understand that you became a member of the Nation of Islam in 1944. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Will you paint a picture of your journey leading up to that time?
Well, I'd be happy to give you what I can remember. Seems like ages ago sometimes. However, I was a youngster at the age of 17 when I first heard about the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Living in rural Maryland, Frederick County, on my uncle's farm, living with my uncle. And we heard about this great teaching through his wife's sister. She was a member and had been for a few years, living in Washington, D.C., which, by the way, we learned later is the first temple that was set up by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad himself. Temple number 4 in Washington. We became very excited by hearing the various things that she shared with us concerning the messenger and what he was teaching about the black man being the original man and so forth. Sounded very exciting to us because my uncle was a member of the local church and he was also a preacher. And anything along the lines of religion and that sort of thing, we were very much interested in. So our interest grew to the point where shortly after hearing about this, we decided to go and hear for ourselves to the temple. One Sunday we piled up in the car, many of us from the family, and drove down to Washington, D.C. We couldn't drive all the way to the temple because we didn't know our way around in D.C. So we caught the streetcar. And the streetcar took us into D.C. where we had to go. However, I just remembered that as a part of the excitement that was going on. For me, being only at the age of 17, that was exciting for a country boy.
Yeah, absolutely. What inspired you to pursue the truth that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad brought?
Well, you know, after hearing about the messenger's teachings, I was just moved to want to know more. And the thing that inspired me most was the realization of who I really am. He shared with us that we are the original people of the earth, the Asiatic black man. I said to myself, wow. All we heard up to this point was what the slave master had taught us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you all know what that story is. So it was so exciting that we just wanted to hear more. So we kept coming. And we accepted the teachings after about 2 or 3 visits to the temple. And I remember that Sunday in late September of 1944. My father, my uncle, my sister, my aunt, several of us. But I remember distinctly that my father and I believe my sister, we all accepted the same day.
Wow.
Yes. And after a short period of time studying the lessons, they called it it was called that time, the introductory lessons to the Muslims was called, it escapes me now what it was called, but it was the introductory to the new members into the Nation of Islam. Oh, now I remember. Student enrollment.
Yes.
Yes, that's what it was called. Student enrollment. And we were given various lessons. All those things were very exciting
Yes.
to me. And so I kept going.
Yes.
We kept going, listening to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his teachings. We didn't see him at the time. The messenger was in jail
Right.
at that time.
Mm.
Yes. And he didn't come out of jail until late 46, 1946.
What was he in jail for?
Well, he was arrested for failing to register for the draft.
Yes.
And the draft age at that time was 18 to 45. We learned later that the messenger was beyond the draft age when they arrested him. However, it might have been that he was in that age when the requirement was presented. Anyway, I didn't see the messenger until 1947.
Mm.
I had the opportunity to go to Chicago, where he resided. And that was an exciting time for
Yes.
me.
Tell us about it.
Well, the messenger met us. We were driving, and the messenger met us in Gary, Indiana. He knew we were coming. And then he escorted us back to his home in Chicago.
So you followed him?
We followed him through the streets of Chicago until we got to his home.
What did he drive?
Oh, he was driving a 1946 Buick. I remember it was maroon. It was a beautiful little car. It looked like it fit him just right.
Mm.
However, that was a great experience for me to meet and be greeted by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Absolutely.
And he took us to his home where we met his family. All his children were there, most of them. And some of them were around my age at the time. I was about 17 or 18, maybe even 19 when I got there, because it was in 1947.
Yes.
So I must have been 19 or 20, something like that. I was born in 1927. So from 27 to 47, that's 20 years. So I was 20 years old.
That's awesome.
Yes. And we were received by his family. I don't think we had dinner at that time at his house. But after leaving his home, we went to our hotel, which we had reserved. And we spent the night, that first night, in the hotel.
Mm.
And I also remember that while we were there for that week we stayed in Chicago, one Wednesday night, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad took us in his car from Chicago to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which was a temple there that was set up by Master Farad Muhammad. It was temple number 3.
Yes.
And boy, you talk about excitement for me. You know, I had never been to the big city that much. However, the messenger was so down to earth, I guess you'd say. He treated us like he had been knowing us forever. And he taught in Milwaukee that night for about 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
He could talk a long time.
Yes.
And he spoke for about 3 hours that night. And then we all got back in his car. It was the four of us with him made 5 in that car. And we drove back to Chicago. And he took us back to our hotel that night. That was the time. I was trying to remember his subject, but I can't remember that. I know that whatever it was good.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
What attracted you the most about what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching?
I think the promise of salvation for the black people.
Mm.
That's what really struck me. There's a way out of our miserable state of condition. That's really what attracted me. It gave me something to look forward to.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, "After me comes God himself." So after the Honorable Elijah Muhammad passed, Wallace took over the nation. What caused you to see that Wallace was not Allah?
I think mostly his demeanor and what he had to share with us about his father was very disrespectful.
Mm.
And I thought that this just can't be right. He even urged us to burn the books that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote. I couldn't see that.
Right.
I said to myself, no, this can't be the one.
Right.
However, we knew that there would be one because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said so.
Yes.
But we thought, and I thought at that point, that one was yet to come.
Mm.
So I resigned myself to just waiting and watching
Yes.
and keeping an open mind and an open ear and listening. Because having the basics of what the messenger taught was enough for me to move on with.
Yes.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of people out there watching and waiting for that one.
Really. I know they are.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe some of us will say, oh no, I'm no God and you are no God. Okay, get your God out and show him to me. Right. You can't do that. You say that God is a spirit. Show him to me. Right. You cannot show me your spirit, God. Then you say he's not to be seen. Well, then I don't want to see him if he don't want to see me.
In you looking for the supreme being elsewhere, what led you to the United Nation of Islam, known now as the Value Creators?
Yes. Well, it happened like almost 20 some years ago that it was shared with me by a former member of the Nation of Islam, known to myself and many others as Captain Yahya, a brother who was captain in Temple Number 4 for a lot of years. He shared with me that he knew of this man who to him seemed to be worthy of our consideration and our time. I had a lot of respect for Captain Yahya. And so I went to see to hear about him. And much to my surprise, I could see from the jump that he was the man. Called himself Solomon at that time.
Yes.
However, we learned later he was actually the new Allah, as we know him today, Royal Allah in person.
Yes.
That was exciting. Yes. I felt a whole new world opening up for me. And I knew that this must be the man. So I've been with him ever since. Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Now, there are many people who have been influenced by Wallace and Lewis. You know, when we speak of Lewis, speaking about the one that's in the Nation of Islam, Minister Lewis.
Yes.
So they've been influenced by Wallace and Lewis during their pursuit of truth. What would you share with them to liberate them from their falsehood so that they can fact find Allah as you have?
Well, first you got to open your mind and realize that you don't know it all. Allow yourself to learn something that you don't know. Listen. Pay attention. Don't close your mind. You know, you've heard of being open-minded.
Right.
That's one of the things that most people don't realize. And you know, I'd like to express this saying about being open-minded. As long as you know you're green, you grow. But when you think you're ripe, that's when you start to get rotten.
Yes.
So keep an open mind and just listen to what others have to say. Then make up your mind based on what's being shared. But you got to hear it in order to know it.
Yes.
You got to hear it, you got to see it, you got to feel it in order to actually know it.
Yes.
That would be what I would share with those who don't know.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Why are you so determined in allowing nothing or no one to deter you from pursuing truth? Why are you so determined?
Because I know it's right. And I know the promise and what it means for us. And that alone will cause one to be determined. Because the journey is not that important. It's the destination that we're looking forward to. That's what I see.
Yes.
So the only alternative is to press on,
Keep pressing.
stay on course.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Move in the right direction.
Yes. What are your thoughts concerning the transition the United Nation of Islam went through, now known as the Value Creators? What caused you to stay grounded during that transition?
Well, because I know that Allah has the plan. And it's not my plan, it's His plan. It's Allah's plan. So, I know and trust that others like myself know that Allah is in charge. And His plan will lead us properly from one step to the other. And this is just another step
Yes.
in the plan of Allah.
Absolutely. What is the mission of the Value Creators, and what are you experiencing by being a value creator?
Well, let me answer the last question first.
Yes.
I'm experiencing a wonderful time. I feel like I'm back to the age of 16 sometimes. And the Value Creators' aim and purpose is to bring this planet back to its original design.
Yes.
That to me is intriguing. That's where we need to be.
Yes.
Everything back to its originality. Can you think of a time more exciting?
No.
That's what keeps me going.
Yes.
Yes.
That vision of returning the planet back to its original design, only Allah can produce that vision for us.
Yeah.
We don't even think on that level.
That's right.
We don't think on that level.
No, sir.
All right.
That's-
I yield.
I was going to say that's why we need to be with Allah.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Allah shared they plan and I plan. And I'm the best of planners.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Seeing that you are 88 years young, you look great.
Thank you.
You carry a light of exuberance that comes out of you. It's very enjoyable. It's very positive. As a matter of fact, it is positive.
Yeah.
That youthfulness that you carry it's almost indescribable. Why does pursuing truth produce that?
Well, when you do what is supposed to be done for yourself,
Right.
you gain the rewards from that. I feel great. I feel wonderful. I don't feel 88. I used to turn the number around, but I don't turn it around anymore because I get the same thing. However, it's a great feeling
Yes.
to still be able to enjoy the fruits of what we are being taught. And I'm happy. And I'm thankful. And I'm ready for more.
Yes, absolutely. Inspiring others to become value creators. How do you go about encouraging people to become value creators?
Well, the first thing I do is try to introduce them to the true facts of life. And then share with them where I got it from.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that will inspire them to want to know more.
Yes.
However, you can't give a man something that he doesn't want, so you got to make him want it. And he's got to see some value in it. And that value he should see in you.
Yes.
If he sees a value in you that he can appreciate, it will cause him to want more. And be friendly. And be happy.
Yes.
Be cheerful.
Yes.
Yes. That's important. When you meet new people, remember that everyone has his own thinking. And you know, I used to ask my father, why is it that wrong always seems to come before right? And you know what he shared with me? By the way, we were together in the nation for 20 years, my father and I. And he shared with me this. He said, because there's so many ways to do a thing wrong, but only one way to do it right.
Wow.
So a man has to learn what's right and what's wrong in order to have the proper guidance in his life.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
To eliminate any expectations for those who would like to become a value creator, what should they be looking to receive, and how should they posture themselves to receive what they are looking for?
Well, I'd say this. In order for a man to receive, he's got to open his mind. He's got to put on hold what he already knows so that something can be added to it.
Right.
If the mind is open, you can make some input. But if his mind is closed, he can't receive it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, you got to have a desire for what's right. And be willing to go about receiving it, looking for it,
Yes.
searching for it. So my advice to anyone who wants to experience the promise of life everlasting, open your mind and consider everything that exists. And then, as has been shared with us, in your consideration, consider the priority.
By you being a value creator, are you experiencing the blessings that have been promised by Allah?
Yes, in every way. Good health, happiness, peace, love, family, All the things that's been promised,
Yes.
I've received it.
Yes.
Yes. So Allah has certainly kept his promise. And what he does for me, he'll do for you. And anybody else who wants to accept Allah, who want what's right. Yes, sir.
Yes. Royal, the new Allah, has consistently shared with us that the greatest gift that you can give a person is another person. Would you say that your wife is a gift from Allah, and why?
Yes. She is a gift. And I thank Allah every day for her. We've been together now 65 years. Soon to be 66. This coming February.
Yes.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes. Unheard of.
And she's been a jewel to me. She's been by my side through all the rough times. And there's been quite a few rough times. I was arrested and put in jail for failing to register for the draft the same year that we got married. I drew a sentence of from 1 to 4 years in the Federal Correctional Institution. And she stuck by me. Every day she would come to visit me in D.C. jail until our first child was born. And that was in January of 1952. And as soon as that child was born, I was shipped out from D.C. jail to Danbury, Connecticut. I didn't see her for 6 months. And she came to see me in Danbury. She stuck by me all the way. And subsequently, Allah blessed us to raise 10 children. And through all the hard times and the good times, she was right there. So yes, the best thing that you can have is another person. It's truly great. Thanks be to Allah.
Yes.
We are still together and still under the banner of everlasting life. Isn't that wonderful?
That is.
That's a blessing.
Yes.
Yes, sir. You know what they say in West Virginia? It don't get no gooder than that.
Oh. You are blessed with grandchildren from Allah.
Yes.
What do you experience in knowing this?
An indescribable joy. A very humbling situation for me. Certainly a great blessing. And if Allah sees fit for nothing more, that's enough for me. It's great.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, the question that I asked earlier about the light that exuberates and comes out of you,
Yeah.
does the practice of truth eliminate time? So the question is relating to the question asked
Yeah.
earlier.
Yes.
does the practice of truth eliminate time?
Well, the practice of truth puts time in proper perspective. There will be a time when there's no more time. You don't need it. Time is just how to measure certain things.
Yes.
And when everything has come to its fulfillment, there won't be no need for time. That's how I see it.
Yes.
Yes.
This is a question for all those seeking the truth. What is the significance of 18 for girls?
I'm not sure I know that one. However, I have some thoughts about it.
Yes.
To me, it's a sign of maturity. I think it takes that long, with proper guidance, proper teaching, and proper understanding, for a woman to reach maturity. She becomes a woman at that time, able to make her own decisions about herself and her life. Matter of fact, my wife was 18 when we got married. She was born in 1932. And we got married in 51.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So that's what I think about 18. I'm sure there are many other good things to be said about that.
Yes.
Yes. But I see it as being maturity,
Yes.
a point in the female's life of being mature.
Yes.
She's ready for life in its fullness. Yes, sir.
What is the significance of the number 21?
Well, 21 is, I guess, what, the brothers, they're a little bit slow sometimes. I think 21 has the same significance as it does for the female, except the brothers are a little bit slow in reaching that point.
Yes.
Really. So, when a man becomes 21, he's his own man.
Yes.
It's time for him now to make his own decisions
Yes.
and move out on his own. Yes, sir. So, 21 is what I see in that.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So I hear that you share funny stories.
I do sometimes.
Would you oblige us by sharing one?
Yes, sir. We live in a world where things are sometimes not what they seem. You have open promiscuity, things that go on things go on in the dark that are not brought to light sometimes.
Right.
It reminds me of a story of a little boy who had a speech impediment. As a matter of fact, he stammered when he talked real bad. And it didn't bother him too much until he got to be school age. And then his peers would laugh and make fun of him because he had this speech impediment. He couldn't express himself too good. So he decided that he wanted to find out what caused that. Why was he not like all the rest of the children? So this particular day he ran home and he said to his mother, he said, Mama, can you to tell me what is it that made me to stammer like that when I talk? Mother said, well, son, I'm busy right now. I said, go in the room and ask your father. Let him explain it to you. He said, okay, Mama. So he ran into the room and said, Daddy, can you tell me what make me to stammer like that when I talk? Father said, oh, son, I'm busy. Said, I got this tax problem. Go out there and ask the Iceman. He said, okay, Daddy. He ran out in the street and found said, man, Mr. Iceman, can you just tell me what it is that make me to stammer like that when I talk? Iceman said, God, go away, boy. What you trying to do? Get me in trouble?
Yes.
Iceman knew something.
Iceman knew a lot. Iceman knew a lot.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, it is an honor.
Well, before I go, I want to share something else with you.
Yes.
Another story. It's short.
Yes, go for it.
There was this gentleman who was, like myself, somewhat what we call aged. And he and his wife had been together for a long time. Like me and my wife, I call her Sweetie. We've been together for 65 years. All of it in the nation. Got married in the nation.
Yeah.
Yes. And the question was asked of this gentleman, what is it that causes you to have such wonderful longevity and relationship with your wife? So can you tell me what that is? He said, well, what I do is give her the utmost respect. I treat her good, I buy her gifts. And every year for our anniversary, I take her on a long trip. Long trip. Last year, I took her to Beijing, China. And that's about as far away from here as you can get without coming back. He said, you did? He said, yes. I said, well, what do you plan to do for your next anniversary? He said, well, my next anniversary, I'm going to go get her and bring her back. So that's the secret. Take her halfway around the earth and leave her there until next year. I thought that was so funny.
Yes, that's a great one.
Yes, sir.
Well, in closing,
Okay.
it is an honor,
Yes.
absolute honor,
Yes.
to be able to learn from you and the life experiences that you have, because you are living proof and you've experienced life, the reality of being with Allah, and you are happy and you are optimistic and eagerly anticipating the promise that Allah is giving to you now. So I'm excited because I know that I'm going to experience the promise as well.
Thank you.
And it's going to be an awesome honor to see you continue to receive yours.
Thank you, God, Dwight. It's
Absolutely.
been a pleasure.
My pleasure as
May
well.
Allah bless you.
Yes, may Allah continue to bless you as well.
Thank you.
That being shared, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.